Okay, we're welcome everyone to a new episode of Women's Empowerment Series. Today episode is going to be very special because I have an amazing guest connecting from Quebec, Canada, Doris Proudlove Smith. Welcome, beautiful Doris. The Women's Empowerment Series is a series where we invite female leaders who share their story because they do an amazing work impacting around them, women and men also. And this is what it is. So it's inspiring, it's motivational, and sharing some of the tips so that our viewers, whoever is connecting with us, can have something to take today from our episode. So welcome, Doris, and welcome to everyone joining us.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hynd. Well, I'd like to thank you for even putting on this series. It's beautiful to hear all these voices, all these stories, and to be exposed to that. So thank you first for
Ah.
actually
You know,
hosting.
I'm so appreciative that you're saying that. In my way of being, I love to celebrate women. I think it's the most amazing thing. And I love to share women working in different industries and similar industries. I think it's amazing. And so this platform is really to say that there is space for everyone. There is abundance in the world, and we want more leaders. This is a time where we need millions of leaders to pop up and to become references. So
Absolutely. Well, your ability to see the light in so many people just goes to witness how much extraordinary light that you have. Right?
oh,
We
that is
don't
so
recognize in others what we have. So
well said, Doris. So we have people connecting from Tunisia. Very nice to have you. Please let us know where you're connecting from, and let's if you have any question for me or for Doris. So Doris, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. I know you have a fascinating career, and it's such a beautiful time to listen to you and to hear that. Please, Doris.
all right. Thank you. Well, I guess I could just, as I briefly want to start with how I got started in an IT career and consulting what I do.
Okay.
Because I was a single mother on welfare by the age of
Mm.
21 and really was in that rut till I think I was like 20, 26, 27. And I was having literally a Big Mac, watching television with my little girl, and that was my life then. I think at the time I was on a minimum wage job working as a taxi dispatcher. And a commercial comes on television about Disneyland. And
Mm.
my beautiful young daughter, Roxanne, looks up at me and says, "Oh, mommy, I want to go. I want to go." And interestingly enough, it was in that moment that it truly hit me that the life I was leading and where I was at and what was going on, I was never gonna have enough money to take her to Disneyland, let
Wow.
alone on any trip, right?
Wow.
And so it really lit a
How
fire.
old was she when she asked you that?
She was like 5, 4 or
Okay.
5. Yeah,
So
she was
she doesn't understand. Your mom, you have to take her. Yeah,
no,
that's it.
no, and she exactly, a very good point because she hadn't gone to school yet, and it's only when the children really go to school and that they start comparing their lifestyle and their level with others. Until then, they're unaware of them. Of
Mm.
really what the differences are. At least, that was certainly my experience. So as Tony Robbins often says, we'll often do more for others than we would ever do for ourselves.
It is so true. So very
I
true.
went back to school and I completed my high school because I was a high school dropout.
Wow.
The whole line with that. And
With a
then
5-year-old, you went back to high school. Oh my God.
a 5 and a 7-year-old, my
She was
oldest
7.
daughter also.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I got a computer programming degree. And
Incredible. Well
yeah.
done. That's not even, you didn't even choose something easy. Wow.
Well, it was 1998, the whole year
I
2000.
love the 90s. Oh, wow.
I was gonna say,
It was
okay,
Madonna. It was
career.
like, yes.
So, but okay, I'll do
And it
it.
was
And I
you.
really, really amazed myself
But the computer at that time was actually fairly new, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean it was Windows with the green screen and the
With
little,
yes.
yeah, for sure. For sure. But I had always been exposed to technology because my father was kind of a hobbyer. He had like the first Coco computers from Radio Shack kind of thing.
Mm.
If you're from Quebec, you would know exactly what that is. And the Commodore computers, right? So you
Oh,
would
come
like,
on. Yeah, we know that. We know that. Yeah.
yeah, the stack of computer code to put in to just have a ball go from
Yeah.
one of the screen to the other, right? So
Wow.
did do that.
Mm.
So but I had rejected it when I was watching my father do that. I thought that was weird, right? But then, 10 years later, I go back to school and I start doing that. And I really amazed myself that I was able to learn it. And it just goes to show how you're programmed and indoctrinated into a certain way of thinking.
Mm.
This is very poverty mindset, third generation welfare. My parents could barely read and write, right? And they were, fairly good-hearted people, as they
Mm.
say, but
Mhm.
you don't know what you don't know. And so they raised their children knowing what they know, right?
Of course. Mm.
And then that put me on a quest of, wow, if I can do that, then I can do others. So I ran a 5K and
Of
I
course.
learned oil
Of
paint. And anyways, I did really a lot of things, but back to the career part. So I started working in IT and very hard work ethic right away. And it wasn't even so much a work ethic as I just love doing it. Oh my God, I'm smart. I can actually do something.
And
And
it's exciting because your confidence is like, woo,
I,
boosted up.
it
And
was
it's
more
a male
about,
dominated field, isn't it? It's
yes.
very male dominated.
Yes, exactly, but that didn't bother me. It didn't
Mm.
bother me at all. I couldn't even tell you why, but it never actually, I had more issues being around other women than other men, but that's
Yeah, because you were focused on your work and your girls. That's it. That's what matters to you. And
yeah, yeah.
yeah, and it's
Well, I
hard
was
to
a very masculine woman,
yeah,
so
because being a mother is very masculine.
exactly. Single mother?
Ah,
Believe
that's
you me.
even worse because
Exactly.
and that's what people get confused. They think you're a mom, you're a woman, but that you're not because when you are a mom, you have to make sure that everything is like tick, 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 done perfectly well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
There's Melanie that talks about a mothering energy is actually a very masculine energy
It
to be
is. It's
mothering.
very masculine.
Very
Exactly.
fulfilling thing, yeah.
Yeah.
So, within three years, right, I got recruited by a small boutique consulting firm.
Mhm.
So, although I worked for over 20 years in the corporate world, I had the good fortune of working for a boutique as a consultant, which means I would work 6 months to a year somewhere and then move on to another. So I
Ah,
wasn't quite as indoctrinated to certain ways of thinking, but yet exposed to so
many
many
things.
different
Yeah.
industries and
Incredible.
issues. And because it was a very small boutique consulting firm, I had to play all the roles. So I did pre-sales, I did the training, I did actually consulting, and then coding, all of it,
You
right?
did it all. Everything.
Exactly. So I stayed with that firm for like 8, 9 years, and tremendous gratitude for
Of course.
everything it taught me about
That's
running a business from A to Z because it was a very small business.
yeah. Yeah.
So around 2014, yeah, 13, 14, I started in the online space and I
Oh, you
followed.
started really early because at that time we still not everybody was in the online.
Yeah,
That's
no, I
interesting.
fell in love with this video series by a coach, and it was very much about doing a life of desire and having an online business, and I was like, wait a
Being
minute, I
free.
know how to do all these things, right?
Yeah.
So, and I want a freedom lifestyle, so I did it. I did the certification, and that put me on another certification after certification.
Well, that's you've been running after them. But then your girls were grown up, right, by that time.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Today they're 32 and 30, so
Oh, because you
right,
had them early.
yeah,
Wow. They're like
very,
your sisters
yeah,
now and
yeah.
friends.
Yeah, 90 and 93, I had my girls. Yeah,
That's beautiful.
yeah.
So you started online business at a time where when you were a consultant and advisor, that's not the thing you will do, right? You will just keep on working with corporations and institutions, going to conferences, being really physically there.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
how it's like that's very pioneer, right? Because and that looks like a little bit you because in the 90s you go in the computer and that's very early, right? And then you start the online quite earlier than anyone else. Incredible.
Well, I mean, again, I've had, like I said, when I started with a small boutique consulting firm, and then that I feel very lucky, very blessed in that way that I get exposed to things
Mm.
very, very early.
Mm.
So I did a lot of business coaching in the beginning,
Okay.
and then realized that's not really my forte. Although I can do it, I took the strategic intervention coaching certification with Tony Robbins and this and that. A lot of
You got it
certifications
all.
in
You have
coaching.
it all.
I
For
very
you.
qualified,
Mm.
but I realized that I'm much more of a problem fixer. I like
Mm.
coming up with solutions and architecting solutions and
Because
coming.
you have a scientific mind. That's what scientific mind is. Yeah.
Well, that's really the difference between coaching and consulting. So, we
Yes.
can talk a little bit about that so
Mm.
that people can understand a bit more what I do, and then and other people, and select right the most appropriate person
Mm. Mm.
for that job.
For
Because
what they need. Yeah.
yeah, because that's often what I get as an issue is people think I coach, but I don't really coach. I go in and I fix issues. I write a solution architect. I create operating procedures for your business. So it's
But
the
you
business.
need to understand fully the business and also the person, right? What they are looking to achieve through their business. And
Yeah,
that's why it feels like coaching, because you're like, kind of, okay, let's go inside and see who you are, right? What you
exactly. So that's why all the coaching certifications has really just deepened my consulting work,
want.
because I can tell when there's I can feel when the person is like coming from the outside of something, when there's something inside that's trying to come
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
But in order to be birthed, yeah.
Which means like the coaching is actually embedded in what you do. And if you
Yes.
just say you do that, that doesn't mean you understand the rest. And
No,
so that's why it's, as a consultant, but you ended up really coaching and giving business advice. So you're actually doing them both, which is amazing, right? Because they got both things, right?
I
Yeah.
am, I call myself the one-stop shop because
Here
I
we go. So
finish.
it is just, but that's interesting because a lot of people that come from executive backgrounds and having achieved already a career, there is a dream for someone else, right?
Yeah.
So that's thank you for being with us. Somebody's just giving you greetings from a man. So we got hello from Casablanca. We got from Tunisia. So thank you for being with us and for let us know that you watching us. I love feeling the vibes, whoever is on, and even on replays. And we are really having a very very important conversation because I think there is a confusion out there about who is doing the coaching and just helping you level up from your within your thinking process, and who is there to actually help you become a successful entrepreneur looking into business. Yeah.
Yeah, coaching is very internally driven and about expansion of the person and increasing their capacity to,
Mhm.
to do what they want us to do, as opposed to consulting is really recommendations, it's solutions, it's providing the actual framework, right? The
It's
actual.
strategy, right? It's business strategy. It's the
Yeah.
framework. Yeah.
And that's why the industry is a little funny because you hear business coaches talking about business strategy when they're
Yeah.
really, they're really two different things because a coach brings out what's in that person,
Yeah.
right? That's the whole thing. So
Yeah.
anyway, so that's what I do now, and I
And
love
so tell me more about the online. So how did you just go on to the online? Because a lot of people wants to just jump in the online. How does it feel? How much did it take you to actually build that brand and the reference in as an online?
as someone who came from a corporate background, and my coach at the time in 2013 when I took that certification in coaching and online business coaching, um, said that people with corporate backgrounds have this perfectionist kind of thing going on. So we often build up something and then it's not good enough, so we build something else.
Yeah.
And I went through that cycle very, very much, right? So, which is why I went and got a web design certification and then a graphic design certification, and kept getting more and more tools in my tool chest,
Yeah.
but was still marketing myself as a coach. So it was kind of getting frustrating for me at the
Mm. Because that's not who you are. You are
no
bigger than that.
point.
And you
And
will
I
kind of
said,
put yourself in a box.
"Well,
Yeah.
this and that," and then they wouldn't do it. And then I was like, what? No, but you wanted to be successful. And I'm telling you, this is, let's start with that. And right. But I didn't understand right? That was coaching as opposed to they needed a coach in that moment in order to get
Mhm.
something. And then somebody like me can come in and help them with the actual
Yes. Yeah.
strategies that they need
Yeah.
and the actual, nuts and bolts of what they need to get to the next step. So mostly now, I mean, it really, when the pandemic hit, is really when this became very much more clear to me. Uh,
Mm.
who I want to work with and what I want to do. It was
Excellent.
very confusing before because, I think we all get a little bit wrapped up in what we see on our Facebook feeds, right? This
True.
consultant's doing that, or this
True.
coach is doing that, and they're that, and then we get involved. Well, I could do that, and then we kind of integrate it, and I could do that, and so forth. And then, at least for myself, I speak for myself, and then you get a little sidetracked, and you're not even in your genius, right?
Mm. Because you copy what others are doing. You like kind of without even feeling it, right? You don't
Well,
think you're copying, but you kind of
I
go
like
in
to
there.
use the word more influenced than
Yes.
copy.
Yes. Okay.
Influence, right?
Mm.
Because no matter what, I think I got this from the book Steal Like an Artist, is that there's nothing original, right?
I
So
like that.
we
Still like an artist. Very well said. Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah,
So
so as the pandemic hit, I really realized that, I'm a solution architect. I like coming when someone has a
beautiful.
problem
Yeah.
and I come in with a solution. I help implement the solution and then I hand it off to the team that will be the operations team.
Implemented it.
So
But it's amazing because a lot of people need that because you have a lot of entrepreneurs online and solopreneurs and just someone who's like, okay, let me get started. And they don't know what to get started from and what to do and who to hire. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I especially specialize in the coaches, healers, and all of these solopreneurs and entrepreneurs, like you just said, that have kind of proven that they know what they want to do and they know what they
Okay.
right, and they've attained a certain level of success. But now it's a little bit of a hot mess, the thing, right? So they
Yeah.
may have email lists over here not connected to this automation part, and so that they can't grow, they can't scale from there. So
Right.
that's kind of what I do is I come in and I help create a framework for them to be able to scale.
Very nice. So do you have a programming or CRM that you use or do you help them set that up?
Everything I do is customized. I think every single
Ah,
person or business
incredible.
has to be customized to
Yeah.
their vision. And that's what I was saying before when we were having our conversation. It's important to me what their dream life is, what kind of business they want. If they have children, you need a certain kind of parameters. And if you don't, and so forth, right? So it's to me, it's very important that it just be entirely customized. And for some people, it's very small scale and they don't need
We don't
as
need more.
in order to ramp up and so forth, right? Just a book as a lead generator, because I did do that also. I know how to publish books.
You did it all.
Yeah.
Doris, you're incredible. Wow.
In French they call it hyper efficience.
Oui,
Yeah.
d'accord.
So it's a bit of a problem at the same time because I never think I know enough, right? So I'm
No,
always
but it's not even that. It's like whatever you do, like, but I can do that too. But I can do that too. So what is it that I will focus on? Yeah.
exactly. It can scatter me, but at the same time, that's the I guess why it's my genius is that because I can work with a lot of different people and do a lot of different industries and so
Sure.
forth.
Sure.
I see possibilities. I see
It's
potential. When
incredible.
people talk to me about what they know how to do and what their lifestyle, right? My mind just goes to work and tuck, 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 creates
Yeah,
it.
because you're a
No,
computer genius. So you like, to take all the data and information and like, let's make sense of it in one picture. Yeah.
and coupled with my personality, I don't know if you know human design, but I'm a manifestor generator with a sacral
Okay.
authority.
Okay.
So
So tell us more what it is because I'm not sure our viewers will all understand that.
I'm not sure I always understand that either.
Okay. What is it?
But from what I understand is a manifestor generator comes up with a lot of ideas and can
Okay.
manifest a lot of things really quickly, but
Mhm.
they need to keep bopping. They need to keep changing. Things move very, very quickly for them. They can easily get bored, right, with things and so forth.
Mhm.
And so the downside to that, from my understanding, right, the downside to that is that they can leave a lot of things uncompleted, right?
Oh,
They
yes.
so for me, designing a business around going in, engaging with someone from 1 month to 3 months, right, to resolve their problem is a time lapse where I can't get bored. Right,
Mm,
boom, boom, boom. I put it in place, and I hand it over to someone else, another team, to go on
excellent.
and do the
So
execution.
you don't get bored. So you're always something new.
So
Yeah.
it uses my genius, right, and it makes me feel good, and it provides a valuable solution to people, because that's a lot of what I see. Also, they'll hire a VA,
Yeah.
and the VA says, "Okay, what do you want me to do?" And I said, "Well, I want you to tell me what to do." Right, right, as the
Yeah, that's
entrepreneur,
what I
because that's not
hired you,
your
but that
expertise,
wasn't the right one to hire. Yeah.
right. Or the VA is just going to end up doing it the same way the entrepreneur was doing it, and therefore they can't do it the same way the entrepreneur was doing it, and then it causes all kinds of other degrees of issues.
Yes. So everything has to be processed, and everybody's work needs to be clear and actually complement each other. Yeah.
Designed everything. I mean, and that's why that was my title, solution architect, right? I
Okay. Yes. I
architect a
like that.
solution, because
Yeah.
it's not, and that's, customized. I don't. Every single person that had this particular light and life and genius, and and I'm interested in that. What's your genius? I mean, right? How can I help you bring that out more in your business, so you spend more time in that and you're having more fun? I saw this post by I forget who it was, but she was talking about how so many coaches go in and become coaches about their biggest childhood wound, right, or trauma, or things like that, because they overcame it.
Yes.
They're also creating a life that
Mhm.
keeps them in that wound
Ooh.
as long as they're working. Is that really their zone of genius? Maybe it is,
No.
because right, but not necessarily. And I think
Exactly.
as women, or maybe as people in general, we're taught or programmed to feel that if it's easy for us to do, that we shouldn't charge very much for it.
Oh, yes. That's so
If
true.
it's hard, right? That's what,
Yeah.
Melanie, I think, was saying that too. If it's hard, then we want to be really paid, right?
Oh,
But
yes.
if it's our genius, it's okay. No, no, no. But it
It's
should be really the opposite. If you want to
it
live
is
the life of
because
abundance
it's your
and
genius. Yeah.
flow,
You want to value yourself. Yeah.
yes, and charge for your genius, right? Because it
Greetings
is easy
from
for you.
Cameroon. Thank you. Thanks, Jean Queen, for joining us. Yes. Yeah, women's empowerment is a big thing because, do you work mostly with women or in general with entrepreneurs, Doris?
I spent a lot of time working with entrepreneurs, but I prefer working with women. I really
Yes.
do. And
Mhm.
that's more of a personal healing thing for me.
Okay.
Because
Yes.
yeah, I had a lot of issues, like coming from the corporate world, worked with men. It was really, boom, 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 boom. And dealing with women and their feelings, and that they feel and they feel and they feel. And then I was like, no, it doesn't matter how you feel. This is what the agenda is. But
Mm.
having to learn to work with women and to make space for that allowed me to make space in myself
Of
also,
course.
for my
Yes.
own life. So, and that's what I mean by it's always a personal healing with me, to
Mhm.
be with a women and to see their genius and so forth, and to appreciate that. I
Mm.
mean, it's so delicious how women can have such profound genius, and yet and be so permeable at the same time
Mm.
to life. It's just such a beautiful thing, that
Oh, it
that
is.
when
Mm.
we're indoctrinated into a masculine corporate, and I'm saying masculine, but whatever, a certain structure of
Right.
thinking that has no value, when, oh my God, that can be anything. That is so valuable, right? That is the
It is.
narcissist, the chameleon, right, the woman that could. I mean, it's so incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yes. So I want to ask you one question about being bilingual. I think that's such an incredible uh, richness that you have. And how do you balance that? I mean, we also, in our part of the world, we speak many languages in the same time. And so how did you weave that into your career and on the online business today?
Well, that is actually something quite recent and came about from the pandemic. So when I've always done a lot of retreats and networking and so forth in English. And when the pandemic came on, I couldn't travel anymore, and I live in Quebec.
Mhm.
And so I wasn't about to stop personal growing or so forth, right? It's just I love it
Because
so
you like
much.
it.
I love
We
it. I love it. I love it. What's the point if not to grow and understand ourselves better and so forth?
absolutely,
What's the
absolutely.
point?
And
Yeah.
you grow when you learn. And I always say that leaders are students of
Yes.
leadership for life.
For
You never stop learning.
no,
Yeah, I agree so
couldn't if I
much.
wanted to. So, so then I started going to French led ones in French, and it was boop 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 neurologically very different for me. So I was my first language is French. My mother speaks no English, right? So my
Okay.
first language until I went to school was French,
Uh-huh.
and then when I was completely educated though in English.
Voila, because your English is like, whoa, more than just learning it after high school. Okay.
Exactly. So I think it really created a neurological patterning, right? Where I have a very logical and educated side that's in English and so forth, and a very emotional side that's
But it's
more in French,
French.
right? Because
Yes, of course.
so when I started doing these personal development workshops in French, issues that I thought I had resolved a long time ago, I certainly had from a logical perspective, but
But
from an
not from the
emotional and
subconscious.
actually much more embodied, right?
Yeah.
Much more in my body because it's
Mm.
from my childhood, right? From
Mhm.
being 2 or 3
Yeah.
and all those traumas that we undergo at that age, right? So it was touching it much more in that through language, right?
Yes.
and
Mm.
and I mean it's such a fascinating thing when you actually speak to someone that is truly bilingual. The conversation will go in English and then in French and English and in French.
Yes.
I keep bopping back and forth, and it's a reflection of the mapping, neurological mapping in the mind of certain memories of how we
Right.
remember things and so forth.
Mm.
We can't think of the word in English because we learned it in French in an emotionally charged situation.
Mm. That's true.
So, anyways, I was doing some research on that of how genius that is, right? The plasticity of the brain when you
Yes.
can actually think in 2 languages
Mm, mm, mm,
at
mm.
the same time. It's very
Incredible. And now you work both languages, or it depends on your clients, or how do you do it today?
well. This is what I'm doing now. I'm starting to work in French. It's
Mm.
challenging because I'm not educated in French, right? In terms of writing
But
and
you get it.
but if you want, we can speak a little bit in French, and
We
then
so good. You know, that's interesting because I run programs in English and programs in French. So
oh,
you see, even in our group, the group goes 2 languages. And you know what's nice about social media, you have the tradition, the translation button, so people can read, which is nice, so that it allows you to actually use languages.
well, this what was interesting though. I was trying to do something in social media, and I just ripped in French because I can speak French and very emotionally in
Yeah.
French. But then the translation thing didn't work so well. Translating
What?
French to English,
Yeah.
not so
It
much.
wasn't the right one.
No,
Wow,
in English
really?
to French, it'll translate pretty well. But
Wow.
I had a lot of issues with it. Maybe it's
Well,
my accent.
well, let's have another conversation in French, which we can do like this in live.
Yeah,
And then we
absolutely.
can, yeah, we
Yeah.
can plan that. That would
Well,
be amazing.
I'd love to talk about what I'm actually birthing in French. You know,
Okay.
I am creating this membership slash it's in a hybrid membership slash training program to
Okay.
bring more and more women online to create
Okay.
businesses online.
Very
And
nice.
I'm very, very excited about
So
doing
we can post about it, and you can even make a post about it on on the group Femme Leader today, so that we have a lot of French speaking speakers in the group, inside the group. So I'll invite you to do that and drop the link. What is it called? It's
Elle en ligne.
Elle en ligne.
Oui.
Ah, very nice. That
Yeah,
would be nice. So, we'll drop the link and then you can post that so that whoever
absolutely.
is watching us and you're a French speaker, you will see something coming up that will be interesting for you. Elle en ligne. That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being with me today. It was such a delight, a beautiful conversation.
Yes.
And you would
Thank
like to say one last word before we close today?
It well, just that we're all born to actually deliver something. And interestingly enough, bringing my ex coach used to say, your business, creating a business is the best personal development program in the world. Because it will challenge you and stretch you in every way, and you will be confronted with all all your things, right? To grow
That's true.
out of them and produce them. So I everybody should have their own business because we are, right? We are our own business.
We are.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. This is a beautiful closing remarks. Thank you for being with us today. And thank you, everyone, for joining us in this episode.